Okay.
Hello, my name is Linda Erskine, and I'm here talking to Indra Singh, and she is a yoga guru, I would say. And uh, Indra, why don't you explain what you do?
Well, number one, guru.
I know.
Wow. Well, I have to go with that term from darkness to light, because that's what guru means. So, I mean, okay, great. I'll take that one. Thank you very much. But yeah, what I do and what I like to do,
Yeah, you're welcome. You have to do new business with me.
I tend to call myself a yoga therapist over a yoga teacher, because I reckon
Yeah,
that's really what I am. Because I treat yoga as more of a therapy than some form of exercise class.
yes.
It's always been that way for me, and to me, it's all about it's all about healing the self. You know, that's what yoga is about to me, and it's about the old traditional ways of teaching yoga. And I have over 30 years of experience of yoga. My own journey was that I started yoga when I was really ill, when I had anorexia, and it was yoga that basically saved my life. So I've always seen it from that place of that's what it's done for me. So why can't it do that for other people? So it's always been my mission to bring yoga to people who tend to be under a lot of stress, or mainly mental health and addiction work has been my work for the last sort of 20 plus years now.
Yeah, and you were at a hospital up until recently.
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I was working in an addiction centre and a mental health unit, which is combined. And sort of over the years, over the 20 years, it became quite, you say, it just got harder to sort of not so much be there, but the process of being part of the NHS, it went from private to the NHS, then became harder because it became a lockdown hospital, and you just start to see the difference
Mm-hmm.
mental health is treated, especially in this country. And although there is support out there, and there is a lot of celebrities going out there talking about their mental health issues, and that's great. I think that's wonderful. What's
Yeah,
happened?
it's a good start.
Yeah, it is a great start. But I think what's happened more than anything is that because we don't have the funding anymore, units are being closed down, jobs are being cut. So it's okay talking about mental health and saying there's a lot of people out there that have had the
Yeah,
issue
but
before.
that's the first thing to be cut, it seems. Yeah.
Exactly. So the cuts are. I mean, there's no funding going into mental health, and I think that's where I sort of think, we need to look at community support more than anything. And I'm not just talking about the nurses, because the nurses are overstretched. The nurses actually need to,
Yes.
so people like me who can either be that support, or like be on call and just support people who are in really treacherous positions where they are going to
Yeah.
feel
They're
upset.
in dire straits and something has to be done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you have to look at it from a holistic point of view, not just medication.
yeah, totally.
Yes.
I think I mentioned this on a Facebook Live a few weeks ago, and I was talking about it takes one person to talk to somebody to save their life. And I've been in situations where I've seen 19-year-olds kill themselves due to the fact that there hasn't been a community nurse there for them at that point in time. And I know
Yes.
that that's not possible, but I do believe it is possible to have the support for the nurses so that people can go out and they can speak
Mhm.
to people who are going to, anybody can talk somebody out of saving their life. You don't have to have
Mhm.
a degree in psychology or a yoga certificate or whatever, or a nursing degree to talk to somebody to save their life. And I think I'm quite passionate about
Well,
that.
this saved your life at one point. So
Absolutely.
you got you got benefit from it. So you're just passing that that teaching and that benefit on to someone else. It's like the pay it forward.
Absolutely, yeah, it's true. But I was ill in the time when there was the support there, and there was the nurses there, and there was the units there. you know. I
Mm-hmm.
was very lucky, and although I was drugged up on amitriptyline and all sorts of lithium and, you know, all the stuff that we kind of don't use now, but, you know, in the 80s.
Yes. We've come a long way.
But, you know, that's what I was on, and I was under psychiatric support. And it was there for me 20,
Yeah.
you know, and I was lucky enough to,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that's not possible now for a lot of people. But even if you go private or you go on the NHS, you're still not necessarily getting the support that you need.
Yeah. So what was your experience in the addiction treatment and the mental health unit? What did you find was the most pressing? And how did your yoga instruction, I don't want to say instruction because that's more like teaching, but how did your yoga experience benefit?
Well, I used to teach a practice called Yoga Nidra, which is yoga of sleep. That's what it means. And if you look at Nidra, Nidra is an anagram of my name. So obviously it's quite funny because I always think, well, I was obviously made to be a Yoga Nidra teacher, because basically you just turn the N and the I around and you've got Yoga Indra.
Exactly. There you go.
So it's like, well, hey. So I mean, I am an exceptionally good Yoga Nidra teacher. I know that because it takes a lot to actually be able to take a group of drug addicts or people who have mental illness, sit them down for 40 minutes and get them to stay there or fall asleep.
Yeah.
And I very rarely did people leave the room unless they were really stressed out. And they used to really look forward to the sessions. So Yoga Nidra is a process where it said to, it's a 40, you know, roughly 40 minutes to an hour process that you're taken through a number of different instructions to relax the body, and it's said to give you the same effect as a night's sleep as well. And when I used to teach one yoga class a week, which was a physical yoga class, very simple, basic hatha yoga technique, and then I would do a yoga nidra session for them, which was the relaxation, which is what they love more than anything.
Of course, yes.
And the benefit of that for people who suffer from anxiety, schizophrenia, addiction, stress, whatever it is, it's just giving them the ability to be able to slow down their mind and not chase their thoughts continuously. And with practice, you know, with practice, it's, and I do say with practice because you have, like anything, you have to practice it. It doesn't just come overnight. And through that, you know, there was a number of people came out of that hospital. In 20 years, probably around 4 or 5 people became yoga teachers, and that's, you know, and then after that, you know, also people that continued to do yoga, which is huge, you know.
Oh yeah, it's a commitment.
Yeah, totally. So to just have that sort of impression, you know, you can share something and then people want to do it for the rest of their lives, and they want to share
in your experience, is there one moment that sticks out over everything else?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's quite a few. I wouldn't know where to start. I mean, we had quite recently, we had a girl with schizophrenia who would talk out loud during the session, talk to the voice that was there, and she would shout, you know, she would shout out in the class, and all the other patients knew her and were still in a relaxed space because they were able to still find the ability, while she was speaking, while she was shouting, to be able to relax. And to me, that's really special, because it's just like, if you have the ability to relax with a mental illness when somebody is shouting in the room,
Yes.
it just shows, you know, the average everyday person couldn't do that. But what I wanted to say about her was that she reacted really well to the session. She loved the session, and what it did was it just calmed her close down, and she was able to then really connect with her rather than the to her. Within the session, she would find who she was, and she would be able
Yes.
to find herself. I mean, I don't suffer from schizophrenia, and I don't know anybody who does, but I'm sure it's hellish.
Yeah.
And I know that being caught up with that voice is like a
Just
nightmare.
even if it's your own voice, but you're speaking badly to yourself.
Yes, yeah. Also,
It's like the
many
inner critic. Yeah. So that's huge
it's
to
massive.
stop that voice. It's not easy.
But I like to say it's not just me who does that. I mean, they do put a lot of effort into it, and they do know what they're coming to. And if they connect with it and they love it, then they get a lot out of it, and they have the ability to be able to then understand it and shift themselves.
Mhm. So what's the next step for you then? Because you're no longer in the hospital
Just be-
setting. Okay, hello. So what is the next step? Because you're no longer at the mental health unit. They've cut that down or cut that back to nothing for the clients. What do you see as the next step for yourself and for the mental health community and the
Well,
addiction community?
I think the next step is to get some form of course out there internationally, which I would love to do, which is, you know, kind of not necessarily what I did there, but create a course where I can get it out internationally. And I've kind of got that in mind of how I'm going to do that.
Okay.
And then so that there is something that people can access for a small fee, and I know it won't, you know, it'll be a sliding scale depending on how many, you know, what people can afford. You know, to be able to create sessions, short 10 sessions for people to be able to access yoga for mental health and addiction. So that's really important. I really want to do that. Get on with my writing.
Yeah.
I know that one.
I'm in that vein too.
Continue the writing. There's a lot there's a lot there. There's a lot out there already. I'm just kind of, you know, that I have actually written. I just need to get to it. I don't see myself going back into hospital anymore. I think I'm done with that now. I think I'm finished. I don't feel the need to do that. I do believe that.
Well, you helped out in that regard anyways.
Yeah.
So the benefits are there. It's now someone else has to take up the fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, totally. I agree.
Yeah. I know that for the sliding scale, I did counseling on a sliding scale back in Canada, and it was a tremendous help when I needed most. And at the time, I was laid up to me.
Yeah.
So, like, combination of yoga, Reiki, personal affirmations, and the cognitive behavioral therapy, that all helped me.
Yeah.
So it's.
Yeah. CBT.
Can you explain about your workshops?
Oh well, yeah. So the workshops that I do, obviously, I do. I at the moment with the lockdown, I'm teaching on Zoom, and that's been really great to be able to access people all over the world. So we're just coming to the end of Empowering Energy Centres, which will be the last one next week, and then from there moving on to the heart. So I'm going to do a 6-week session on working with the heart energy. So 3 weeks of that will be working deeply with self-love, and then 3 weeks of that we'll be working with how we can take that love and express it into the world around us. You know, because I think I'm really strong about the fact that to love others, we have to love ourselves first. You know, And it doesn't
Hmm.
happen. People find, you know, it very easy to love other people and not love themselves. To me, that isn't necessarily love. Um, and, and I do believe in deep selfishness and own self-love and self-care before anything else. You know,
Well, it's like the whole theory of if you're on an airplane and the oxygen mask comes down, you put yours on first. I
Abraham.
always go back to that because if you're not healthy yourself, you can't help anyone else. And
Absolutely.
that took me a long time to learn.
Yeah, yeah, it's so true. Yeah, Abraham talks a lot about that, you know, and I I really do think that, I don't think, I kind of know that just through my own experience is that having a relationship with somebody, a partner, um, male or female, you know, you've got to, you know, I see so many women especially who are chasing love, who are chasing
Hmm.
that external partner, hoping and praying that that's going to be the be all and end all of their life. And in the end,
That person is going to make them the happiest.
yeah, and we all know
Yeah.
that happiness comes from within. And then once we kind of merge with that, without getting too woohoo, but if we merge with the true self, then what do we are then able to have that relationship that we want.
Yes.
And you don't. I only know this because I've done it myself. It's first-hand experience.
Yes. Well, you bring a lot of firsthand experiences, my friend. Like, and that's what's brilliant about it. You know where we're coming from.
Yeah, I think you've got to beat yourself up a few times emotionally before you actually realize I'm not doing this anymore.
Exactly. You can only run into the wall like so many times before you think enough of this crap.
And I
Yeah.
do think, we're of a similar age, so I do think as you get older, you sort of hit 40, and I remember being told, so when you hit 40, you'll, and I was thinking, yeah, right, there'll be a change. Actually,
Oh, yeah.
there really is. Once you hit 40, there is a change. There's a shift in your personality that you're not prepared to take back. And
Yeah.
and that gets also, I think, as you head towards 50 as well.
I'm there this year. As the COVID gray, you can tell. But no, I think I was a late bloomer. I didn't learn that lesson
Yeah.
until I was about 43. I lost my dad. He was my buffer.
Yeah.
And I had to fend for myself against the Almighty Mother. And I had to learn how to deal with her and how to, uh, like, without losing myself
Yeah, sure.
and what I had gained. I had to, I guess, set boundaries for sure,
Yeah,
because she was always stepping over the boundaries, and follow through.
totally.
And there are consequences.
Oh yeah, boundaries are huge.
And in the end, that was when I became stronger. I found my voice. And it's been slowly getting stronger ever since, though I still need help in that area.
Oh God, as
A
a
work in
strong
progress.
woman moving from Canada to Scotland, I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, people think I'm nuts, but I'm
No,
a good kind of nuts. It's okay.
huge strength. I mean, people would talk about it, but they wouldn't do it, and I think it's fabulous.
Yeah. I was tired of talking about it. I
Yeah,
just wanted to do it. And
that's
that was it.
such a good lesson, and it's one that I'm seriously learning. Just stop
Oh, yeah.
and do it. Yeah, and I do that a lot with my one-to-one clients. It's like, why do you keep talking about this? Why don't you just keep doing it?
Oh, yeah. One friend of mine said, shit or get off the pot. It's like, okay. It's no more clear than that.
It's
And
good.
since I've come here, I've done a lot more work because of the pandemic, because I was stuck inside by myself. I
Sure.
have my dog, but he can only talk so much to me. And I had to look inwards.
Yeah,
And it's just been a whirlwind of activity ever since.
yeah, been
So
brilliant.
for the pandemic, I'm grateful. It sounds strange. Like, um, obviously there are cutbacks and bad things about the pandemic, but I think it allowed a lot of people to turn inwards because they had the time.
Totally. It's been fabulous.
Yeah.
I think it's been great. It certainly worked for me.
Oh yeah.
And
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so what I will mention is just a bit about yoga and my view on yoga and how I'm shifting that as well, because I've noticed like over the years that yoga's become. I started yoga when it wasn't really trendy. It was still very much leotards, and you used to have a woman
Oh yeah.
called the Green Goddess, and she used to come on to TV in the morning and wear this green lycra outfit, and
I remember.
yoga used to be like, and it was. I learnt yoga then, when we were all in lycra, and then it all changed and got quite Lululemon and Sweaty Betty and very trendy,
Hmm.
and I think people are still very fearful of trying yoga because they think they have to be physically flexible. So on November the 8th, I am running a yoga and play workshop for the day, which is all
Oh,
about,
awesome.
it's all about connecting with that playful side of yoga and not feeling that we have to be serious to
Yeah.
do.
When I did yoga about 20 years ago,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit less,
yeah,
and I was more concerned on getting the poses right than anything else.
yeah,
And it wasn't until the last like 10 minutes where we're breathing in that I actually relaxed.
yeah,
And after that, I couldn't speak. Like no words were coming out of my mouth.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But I was totally concerned about what was happening around me if I was doing it right,
Yeah,
because I had to be perfect, at the time.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And now I'm a little less flexible,
yeah.
and I notice a difference from the last time I did yoga.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean, people do think it's all about the physical, and it's not. The physical comes
No,
last,
it's not.
you know?
Hmm.
So I kind of
So,
bring that back for people to see that they can actually do yoga and have fun with it. And when I'm running my physical classes, people come in whatever they're wearing. They don't have to, nothing fancy, and they just come and they do what they can, and they have
yeah.
fun with it. And some people like the serious side. That's absolutely fine. But as I like fun and laughter and humor,
Hmm.
that's what I bring into my sessions because that's
Yeah.
who I am. And the
Well,
people,
the last session, my dog got in on it.
yeah, yeah,
I was doing the downward dog, and he did it too. It was hilarious.
they are
But
amazing.
so when is this yoga play? Hmm. When is this yoga play workshop?
November the 8th from 10 till 4.
Okay, and where is it being held?
It's been held up here in North Yorkshire. It's been held at a yoga centre called the Wellspring Wellness Yoga Centre. And it was
Oh, cool.
supposed to be on the 5th of July, but obviously we've had to change the date due to
Yeah.
lockdown. So yeah, it's and then of course I do my Wild One weekends, and obviously that's been on hold because of the pandemic. So we're on number 5 now, so that will be next year. Where that's going to be, I don't know. I've got plans.
Oh,
We'll find
yeah.
out.
Okay. Where can people get a hold of you?
www.silent-moon.co.uk. That's my
Okay.
website, and everything's on there. And obviously there's 30-minute free consultations as well. So if you just book a space, you can have a 30-minute free consultation from me. And
Okay, perfect.
that's no pressure to buy. It's just my wonderfulness and my expertise.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. You give people a taste of yourself,
I've done
and
it.
that sounds so wrong, but people come back wanting for more. So
Absolutely. That's the
yeah,
whole.
exactly. And they see the benefits, and
Absolutely.
there are.
Yeah. Oh gosh, they
So,
are.
uh, one final word. What would you like to say to people during this pandemic time, during this lockdown, during this like time of unease?
First thing is humor. Is find the humor in it, because
Hmm.
my truth is, if I hadn't had laughs through this time and had the ability to be able to connect with that, I just think I would have found it a lot harder.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, I said find the funny side of this, because you can easily
Mhm.
get caught up in the fear and the darkness of this. So
Yeah. And
having people around you that have humor. I tend to listen to Billy Connolly or myself.
Love them.
Because he's my favorite, you know. And
Yeah.
I say that to everybody, you know. It's like when Abraham Hicks says, you always have to get yourself in a better feeling place when you're feeling a bit low. And the next step in the emotional scale is to find that next place where you feel better. So what do you do to make yourself feel better? One of my things is to listen to comedy, to listen to laughter. And it's just about, so for some people it might be reading a book, you know, singing with a drum, like, you know, I did the other day. All those things, they bring you up to, you know, a better place. So instead of sitting in it, lift it.
And knowing it can get better.
Yeah.
Like there's always, we have the rain, but there's always sunshine coming after it.
But
we don't know when it's going to happen, but especially in Scotland.
Yes, that's kind of why I want to live there.
Oh yeah. No, it's funny because like it downpours for days and then you get a sliver of sunshine and people run out in their shorts and their bikinis, get burnt, go back in, and it's like it's very strange. Yeah.
Linda, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to cut this off now, but if you can post it, that would be great.
Yep.